Hello, YouTube.
Hello.
Hello, football fans around the world and wherever you may happen to be. He's Anthony. I'm Daddy. Marquette football is undefeated since 1960. And the Rose Bowl is going on. So we are going to give you, live reactions?
Yeah, some live reactions, as well as just talking about the game, talking about whatever. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome. You have experience with the Rose Bowl. You've covered it.
Oh, yep.
And I have loved watching the game. If you don't know me from Sorgy Stories, you might know me as Wisconsin sports fan in the college football community. So, yeah, we have Utah and Ohio State playing today at the half, which is what it is right now. 35 Utah, 21 Ohio State.
Did they forget the concept of defense? I think they completely forgot the concept of defense.
Yeah.
So, as you can see, we're attempting to replicate the scoreboard. It's a massive fail at the moment, but that's just because it's our first time trying this.
Yeah, that's not going perfect.
Yeah. So we apologize, but it's 35-21 right now in halftime. Yeah. Trust us at this moment. So give us your comments as we go along and discuss the Rose Bowl and more.
Yes.
As this continues, make sure to give us a like when you watch this video. Put a like in there. It helps us and our channel. Certainly subscribe as you do it. And like each other and subscribe to each other as you see each other's accounts come up.
Or dislike, because it doesn't matter. It helps the YouTube algorithm either way. So if you like or dislike, it's going to help us. So there's no point disliking if you don't like it.
Now, I'm going to trust your take on the first half of this Rose Bowl because I've been doing my work for KYW News Radio during the first half of this game. With this being New Year's weekend, it was my time to take care of the holiday, so I did that. You watched a game where defense decided to go out the window so far.
Yeah. Utah has dominated. Ohio State just had a couple big plays that really helped them, giving them 21 points. But Utah, a 97-yard kickoff return touchdown, as well as a huge run by their quarterback. I am trying to remember his name. I think it's Rising. Yeah, I think it's Rising. Okay. Rising, something like that. But yeah, I think we're back to the second half. Well, yes, we are.
We're about to go live to the second half at the moment. Utah with a 2-touchdown lead on Ohio State. We're going to get into the whole point of Ohio State being in this game, overrated versus underrated. Do you think Ohio State needs some humble pie coming into this with the way the program has gone this year? And so much more, especially about the Rose Bowl itself.
Yes.
And we want to get your thoughts on that as we go along. I just looked it up while we were talking here. The highest scoring Rose Bowl in history was January 2018. Georgia against Oklahoma when it was a college football playoff semifinal. Take a guess how many points?
85.
102.
Wow. We could be on pace for 100 points. We're already halfway there.
They're more than halfway. If you do the math, 56, 102 minus 56, carry the 75 to the power of 3. That would equal 46 more points these two teams have to score. They'll break that if they get 7 second-half touchdowns. That's a tall order.
Yeah.
I mean, these teams actually have some semblance of defense. They just haven't shown up yet. And whenever you get to the halftime locker room, you tend to see more adjustments being made. Therefore, you would tend to think that we're going to get somewhere with the defense actually performing the way that they're supposed to perform.
Yeah.
We're going to watch this live with you as we go along. So you can put us on what's called the second screen and comment with us. They're about to go to kickoff.
Yeah, Utah is going to be kicking the ball off.
In a stadium, by the way, if you look at the screen, it's all red.
Yes.
But it's majority Utah red.
Really?
You were the one who told me that.
Yeah, 60, at least, according to ESPN, at least 60,000 Utah fans coming out. Their all-time home stadium high was, I think, 52,540.
They've broken 60,000 for when they hosted the Olympic Games opening and closing ceremonies at that place in 2002. That's it.
Yeah. So Ohio State has the ball, first and 10. But the big story for Utah coming into this,
Mm-hmm.
and this year's story, has really been growing from losses. They lost two of their players in tragic ways in the last year, and we have Chris Learning. If I recall, Ohio State had several players that opted out of this game. Did any Utah players opt out? So, yes, Ohio State having Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson, their top two receivers. I don't think that Utah had any of their top players out. In Roseville, Real Fan Photography saying, who you guys going for? Go Utah in this one.
As someone who grew up in Wisconsin, covered the Wisconsin Badgers, so I got to get inside the program and get an affinity for what the program is. They're my top college football team, along with my wife Anonymami's West Virginia Mountaineers.
Yeah.
So I certainly have to go for the Badgers. Can't be an Ohio State fan when you think of it that way. And I mean, also Utah's never won anything.
Yeah.
They've never really won anything major at this level. I mean, I believe they've won one of the big bowl games. They've never won the Rose Bowl. This is their first time there. That's why 60,000 people are filling the place, if I'm correct on that. But that's why they're getting this huge crowd at this game. And I'm going to get into just how incredible a game at the Rose Bowl is.
And that's a real, right here. So 3rd and 2, an Ohio State, I think, running back, number 32, he had a pretty hard hit there. So hope he's okay. He came off the field, training staff looking at him. But yeah, so Ohio State is driving here. Big 3rd down. CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
Quarterback.
Here's an update. This is their first Rose Bowl. They've won the Fiesta Bowl and they've won the Sugar Bowl before.
And Ohio State
they're getting them. They've got inside the Utah red zone.
Down inside the 20. I think that's maybe at the 20. It's going to be 1st and 10 Buckeyes with about 14 minutes to go. A huge play.
Utah, we've got New York Brothers saying hello, you guys. James Charles' cousin Neil, you are a big fan. Tell us what you are a big fan of if you're a fan of one of these two teams. I know, Chris Learning, you are in the state of Ohio, so I can understand if you have an absolute affinity for the Buckeyes. Now, I can tell you, I've been to Ohio Stadium for a game.
Yeah.
Never been to Utah, but I've been to Ohio Stadium covering the Wisconsin Badgers for a game. There's nothing like it in terms that I've ever experienced in terms of the sheer size and volume of partisanship and all that advancement of the football by Ohio State. It went for nothing.
A pick for Utah. Ohio State, CJ Stroud, the quarterback, threw it into the end zone, and it is picked. So Ohio State has turned over the ball twice now. And that was a bad throw.
Which it's not very Buckeye of them.
Yeah.
Not very Buckeye of them when it comes to this. So, I mean, they are not known for committing turnovers. So, a game at Ohio Stadium is just incredible.
Yeah.
100,000 plus inside that place. The sheer level of red, the sheer level of noise, and it's 100,000 people just squeezed in to this not very humongous space compared to, say, Jerry World in Dallas. So it's very steep. The noise just goes right there to the 50-yard line and bounces all over. Its sheer size is bonkers. Walking with Tamsin, late night, Saturday night, Sunday morning viewer, joining us from Scotland. It is an exciting, high-scoring game with Utah up right now, 35-21.
2nd and 15, a loss on a run for Utah. Now, rising, he's going to throw it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a game.
One thing we really can't do is give the full play-by-play of the
We can't
game.
give a full play-by-play.
But we can give our reactions as we see it. So, Chris, you're mentioning, wow, your husband went to Utah. A lot of family members went to Ohio State. You're rooting for Utah. Do you have security at your house? Do you have security around everyone else who is rooting for Ohio State at that moment?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm putting up the U.
For those of you who are watching live broadcast, you just saw the sun as it's about 4:25 in the afternoon, heading towards sunset.
Oh, and on Utah's gonna have a 3-and-out. They were stopped there on 3rd down.
Ohio State decided to show up and grab a defense.
Yeah.
I mean, you tend to see a lot of great defensive adjustments in the third quarter. Third quarters tend to be some of the lowest scoring quarters in football games. Tampton saying, go Utah, rooting for the upset, rooting for the Pac-12 champion to beat the big powerhouse of the Big Ten. Ohio State, though they did not win the Big Ten title this year.
Michigan, who sadly did go down yesterday to the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll talk a little bit more about that as the Utah.
What just happened?
Punt was blocked or something.
It appears to be a block.
They're fighting for the ball, and Ohio State has it.
They are like, Ohio State is like deep. Oh my gosh, that picture of the Utah fan going.
So Ohio State now has the ball 1st and 10.
Yes, the Buckeyes. Oh, and Chris learning, we will never call Ohio State the Bucks. Because the Bucks are the Milwaukee Bucks. They are the only team that is allowed to be called the Bucks.
But Tampa Bay Bucks, though. I'll let the Tampa Bay Bucks play.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Bad snap there. The punter just fumbled the ball, and Ohio State came up with it. They are
oh my gosh,
they're
11 yards away from the goal line.
And they're going to run it.
But Utah has swarming defense.
Yeah, but
Utah has swarming defense.
There's a flag.
Yeah, we can't give the play-by-play of what's going on. So just react to what you see. You out there react to what you see as we go along with this 35-21 Rose Bowl game that's now 3 minutes so into the second half.
It's going to be holding.
So we apologize that you can't see the score incredibly well.
It says Ohio State 21, Utah 35 with a picture of the Rose Bowl that you took, if I'm correct.
A picture I took because I've covered this game.
Yes.
I have been to the Rose Bowl. I went there back in 2011, January 1st, 2011, to cover the Rose Bowl. By the way, this is the 100th Rose Bowl. As Keith Jackson, Kirk Gaddy called it, the Granddaddy of them all.
Wow.
Ohio State now just like maybe 8 yards from Pater with the opportunity to cut this lead in half.
Yes, it's going to be 2nd and some.
There is nothing like sitting in the Rose Bowl hours before kickoff, and you are the only person in the press box.
Wow.
And you can sit there, and you can see the beauty of the canyon at what they call Arroyo Seco, as I talk with my hands here.
Yes.
Talking with my hands. The beauty of the Arroyo Seco Canyon, surrounded by the mountains, as they rise up in the north and to the east, and the trees that surround the stadium. You can see it live on the broadcast.
Yeah.
Just how picturesque it is.
After Ohio State gets a touchdown from Stroud.
They're about to cut that lead into half and make it a 35-28 game.
And
it's now 35-28. That's how quick Ohio State can strike.
So we have 11:20 left in the third. For those of you just joining us, we have 5 in here currently. Ohio State, great drive, but they didn't really have to drive much. This game's just been crazy.
It has absolutely been crazy. I'll be right back as I try and update this very quickly. Hopefully you can hear me on the screen.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens here.
So as we go to the commercial, this is gonna be really today's the end of bowl season, except for one game on Tuesday. We have this game, and then later we have the Sugar Bowl, Baylor and Ole Miss from New Orleans, Louisiana. That's gonna be a fun one. But so far, what's happened in college football has been pretty crazy. You had Oklahoma State barely beat the Irish of Notre Dame. Then you have in a couple games that really disappointed us yesterday, Alabama beating Cincinnati and Georgia beating Michigan. And really it just shows how the SEC is dominating college football.
By far.
And it's sad because really no one else is getting the opportunities anymore. It's become this thing where the SEC, they have two teams, the final two teams, going to be playing not this Monday night, but next Monday night. And Chris Learning says, what are your thoughts about the playoff games yesterday? For me, it was exciting to watch UC, even though they lost. Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, we'll have a story on that coming up.
But yeah, so we have the NFL tomorrow, today, and yesterday we've had college football. By the way, Happy New Year to you all.
Yeah.
I hope that you're having a great New Year's Day. As we have Michael J. Tupta saying, "Oh hey, from Chippewa Falls."
Michael J.
I'm really loving Wisconsin. How about the Packers? I got to experience Steelers versus Packers in October.
He went! That's awesome!
Yeah, so glad that you went. I hope you're enjoying Chippewa Falls. It's, Wisconsin's great, as you know, and yeah, the Packers are doing well.
Chippewa Falls, the home of Leinenkugel's beer.
Yes.
Which you can't have yet.
And Walking with Tamsin, Happy New Year, Anthony. Happy New Year to you as well. So yeah, what do you think about, Michael J., the Pitt Panthers and the West Virginia Mountaineers?
Okay, I'm back. Can you see the score update in the background?
Maybe.
No, still can't. All right, we're experimenting with this, so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Something quick.
And by the way, Michael J., very good use of the most important Wisconsin phrase that exists. That phrase called "you betcha." You betcha.
Is that good?
I don't think it really does much.
Okay, I'll turn it back.
Okay, turn it. Yeah, that should be more visible.
Okay.
That should be more visible.
Hopefully
for the score.
That helps. Okay, here.
Yeah,
well, no.
Still too bright.
It's not. Okay.
Still too bright.
Well, that's that. We tried.
Beverly Daniels chiming in, and thank you for joining the broadcast.
Those are bots.
Yeah, those look like bots. We're going to have to knock them out. So, yep.
Yeah, those are all... Okay, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. This is something that happens on these kind of streams where you've got bots coming in and all that. So,
Andy with a smile. Thank
yes.
you so much. Thank you so much.
Utah first and 10 right now. They're driving.
This coming up needs to be a very big response drive for the Utah Utes, because when Ohio State comes in, gets a turnover, it really technically isn't a turnover, but you could call it a turnover. They get a turnover. And by the way, to all of you joining us for the first time, definitely subscribe to our channel, subscribe to each other's channels as you join this chat. So when you get a turnover situation like this, it's a major momentum swing when a team comes out right there and then grabs the lead. So this is a definite response opportunity for Utah to probably slow the game down, try and be more physical, run the ball, take some clock out to change this momentum, and then get a 14-point lead back if they can. I would expect them here to try and run the ball and try and get themselves back into a 2-score lead in the situation.
Ohio State has an injury, not looking good, but Utah had a penalty stopping them right there.
And by the way, Utah is nowhere near the Pacific Coast, so for them to be part of the Pac-12 is just an egregious mistake when it comes to geography.
Yeah.
But at this point in college football, who cares? West Virginia's in the Big 12.
Yeah, UCF is in the Big 12.
New York brothers saying, Anthony, you really good job with your live.
Thank you.
You may not know much about it, but you like to watch us. We appreciate that. Help us maybe we'll educate some people a little bit about football. I mean, walking with Tamsin, how many American football games, for example, have you watched before? Our viewer from Scotland who's joining us.
Where are y'all from? We're in Philly. But where are y'all right now? Oh, and
Utah has gained
runs.
a first down and more.
And they're in field goal range.
They are very easily in field goal range to expand that lead back to a 2-score lead.
Yeah. Yeah, so you have American football, you have the rest of the world's football.
Soccer, as we call it here. You got rugby. You got a whole bunch of different types of football. Rugby is an Olympic sport. Soccer is an Olympic sport.
Yes.
American football has actually received recognition from the International Olympic Committee as being a sport. But, oh my gosh, look at the mountains and the beauty of those mountains if you're watching the ESPN broadcast. Yeah. But football's technically a sport recognized by the International Olympic Committee, but so few countries play it that mainly two. There's some others that play it.
Yeah, you have the CFL, Canadian Football League, and then the NFL, which is All America.
Right. But, yeah, I mean, you really only have a couple of countries that play it at a very serious level, so it's not going to be an Olympic sport anytime soon. Utah has it now in the Ohio State red zone. Again, it's just taking momentum and changing it with your offense and having the capability to put points on the board the way that they do. Utah is definitely taking advantage, and they are in prime position to expand this lead.
Yeah.
Getting back to what we were talking about with what the Rose Bowl is like when you go to the stadium, you see it with 95,000 people, as you see right there right now, in the beauty of a Pasadena sunset. I've been there when there's almost nobody in the seats.
Yeah.
When the players and like the team staffs are the only ones that are there, because I got a chance to go there the day before the game.
Wow.
Walk the field the day before the game.
Nice.
As the players go sort of through not a full rehearsal practice, but just sort of get used to the locker room and get used to the field, see what it's like.
And
it's insane.
Speaking of locker rooms, the original locker room, one of the original locker rooms, was turned into a museum.
That is true. There is a Rose Bowl museum.
Yeah, which I think is awesome. Utah has it, and they are at the age.
This is going to be a massive, important third down, because it decides whether they're going to go for a field goal or whether they got a chance to put the ball in the end zone.
And
they do not. They have to now kick it on fourth down, unless they decide to go for it.
You don't do that.
That's going to be a theme of a video that we're going to have coming up for all of you on Tuesday night.
Yes.
8 o'clock Eastern time, I think. We're going to be releasing it.
Yeah, with the help of some friends of mine, are going to be doing in the chat, talking mainly about probably the game and what happened in that video.
Yep, there. And yes, Utah is going for the field goal, walking with Tamsin.
24-yard attempt.
Chip shot, that's easy. Yes. 38-28, the Utah lead. I'm going to change this graphic again. But we'll be talking about the Green Bay Packers Baltimore Ravens game that we went to. We know the result of the game, but what our experience was watching it, and the experience of a Baltimore Ravens game, which was a fantastic game day experience. We don't want to reveal too much of it.
Yeah.
But Just Call Me Annie, great YouTube channel. Subscribe to her. She joined us. Mm-hmm. That was a ball.
Yes, it was a ball for sure. So yeah, we're on commercial break after the field goal there. But what have you all thought about bowl season for you football fans and for if you're not a football fan, what's happening in any sports you like or anything like that. What's happening where you are walking with Tamsin. What's happening in the Scottish Premier League? I think that's the right
That
name of the
is
league.
correct.
Yep. I've been doing a little studying on my European soccer. So yeah, this has been crazy. As I was mentioning with the bowls, it's just been absurd with some of the things that have happened. But for our teams, we have Wisconsin beating Arizona State. They did that on Thursday night in the Las Vegas Bowl. While on Tuesday night, West Virginia lost to Wisconsin's arch rival, the Minnesota Golden Gophers.
Golfers,
yeah.
Golfers.
In the Guaranteed Rate Bowl in Phoenix, Arizona. West Virginia's quarterback, Granddaddy, who would be going into his senior year, is transferring, leaving the new kid, Nico.
Golfers!
And Garrett Green to be the two quarterbacks for the team unless West Virginia gets lucky, gets a transfer. So yeah, in the NFL, the Packers playing the Vikings tomorrow night, Sunday Night Football. If the Packers win, it's, I wouldn't say a full guarantee, but almost one that they get the 1 seed, because then they play the Detroit Lions, who have severely struggled this season. It's been horrible for the Lions. As now, maybe you can, I think you can see it now.
Let's see. Have we figured out the scoreboard problem?
There's a light. The light over here is kind of messing it up.
We figured out the scoreboard problem.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
So now we just have a black screen.
That's how you do it.
As we are back in Pasadena.
You ever been to California? You ever been to Southern California? You've ever seen those palm trees that rise like 200 feet above you? We have.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Go check out our San Diego and our Los Angeles videos from our 2019 West Coast road trip.
I'm going to try to scoot out of the way so you can kind of see the score.
Okay. This is live TV, so we appreciate that.
Yes. So yeah, let us know where you are chatting from. We'll give your city shout outs. Subscribe to each other and all that fun stuff. As yes, the Goodyear blimp.
The Goodyear blimp. Okay, here's a question. Would you ride in a Goodyear blimp?
I don't know. That seems kind of interesting. I'd have to learn a little more.
Because we've ridden 35,000 feet up in airplanes, but both of us are pretty, we're a bit scared of heights.
Yeah.
So that might feel a little bit different.
Ohio State on the
Uh-oh. They're about to make this potentially a 3-point game. Utah stops them.
But a flag.
Oh. 9 times out of 10, I'm not saying it's the case this time, 9 times out of 10, a flag like this comes from an illegal block that pushes it way back.
Yep.
And there's the dude who looks
Bowling.
And there's the dude who looks like Santa Claus in his grayish years, Ryan Day, the coach for Ohio State.
Who has been rumored to be going to the Chicago Bears.
Well, they haven't even fired the coach yet.
Yeah, but Matt Nagy's going to be gone. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Illegal block for sure.
There was a very obvious illegal block at the 24-yard line.
Seemed like a face mask. Oh, yeah, he for sure is pulling on that face mask.
Yeah, so that is going to be moved back. Typically, that's a 10-yard penalty from the point of the block. So if I'm correct on that, that would then be at the 14-yard line. We're about to find out if it is or not, based on the feed that we see. It's even further back. It's like the 11.
Yeah, that's going to be spotted right about the 11.
That hold could be a 7-point mistake, which means everything in a game like this. A 7-point mistake. Tamsin, since you're watching us, did your team, I believe you are a big fan of Hearts in Scottish Premier League football and soccer. Do they play a traditional New Year's game there? I know that you typically get the old firm game around New Year's, which is Celtic versus Rangers.
I think that was today or it's tomorrow.
It's somewhere in that neck of the woods.
It's or Monday. I can't remember. I was looking up the game because
That's
See
an
if I can see it.
that's an uncalled, very obvious offsides penalty on Utah, and Utah got away with it, but Ohio State still.
They might decline that.
Yeah, and looks like we got an injured Ohio State player.
Who is?
That,
And that's a receiver. Their top two receivers, as we said, have opted out of this game.
and the guy was running, like holding his arm like this, is like his right arm is flopping, which usually means a very bad ligament injury.
Oh.
Yeah, and I am no doctor, nor did I stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night, but that's a very bad typical.
Express.
You've never seen that commercial? Have you ever seen the Holiday Inn Express commercial?
I've never seen. I probably haven't. I don't remember.
It's a commercial where you have the someone who claims to be an expert at something, who's in like a meeting for high level professionals, and they have no clue. They have no clue about anything. And someone asks, "Well, are you a doctor?" And then they say, "No, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night."
Oh.
Holiday Inn Express, etc.
But yeah, Ohio State, Utah's just shutting him down. Utah has a really good draft prospect, middle linebacker Devin Lloyd. Watch for him. I think he's going to be drafted pretty high. I've seen him be ranked pretty high in the classes.
And the thing is, Ohio State, when I was growing up, Ohio State was never a passing team. Mm-hmm. It was 3 yards and a cloud of dust. I was too young to be around during the Woody Hayes years, but that was the philosophy of Big Ten football. You run the ball between the tackles with big guys and big blockers, and you just march down the field. The passing game was never the big thing. In the 35 years that I've watched college football, it has turned mainly into a spread, typically a spread passing game.
Yes.
Which I love.
Yeah.
I love that whole combination.
Ohio State up to
Chris Learning. You remember the Holiday Inn Express commercials? That's awesome. That is awesome.
So now, a flag, and that's going to be...
That is going to put Ohio State into some deep trouble.
Oh, on Ohio State, okay.
If it is against Ohio State, which it's not. It's against Utah. And I believe that is an automatic first down situation. Mistakes that you force or that the other team commits more often than not decide winners or losers in games like this.
Yes.
And it absolutely is. We're going to hopefully be here for the remainder of the game, which means we probably both need water.
Yes.
Can you hold down the fort?
I can hold down the fort.
Or would you rather go get it? That way there's less of a chance of you two being like, oh, you had a kid alone.
I will go grab it.
Okay. So if you can get some for both of us, that'd be fantabulous. Yes.
I gotcha.
You can see it's a 38-28 lead right now for Ohio State.
You can click back on again.
For Utah against Ohio State as we speak. Hopefully I have the right way to get the full screen up. I apologize. Again, this is live television, live radio, live YouTube. For all the out there, tell us what games you've been watching, if you've been watching any college football during this bowl season. I watched part of the Wisconsin win against Arizona State late night while our family was in West Virginia, celebrating Christmas going into the New Year's. Obviously saw West Virginia as well lose their bowl game, unfortunately. But, I mean, those were late games. That's like 2 a.m. That's like Tamsin right now, staying up and watching us, which we massively appreciate. So we give you all the credit, all the love in the world. You are also seeing behind us some very, very bad attempts at Christmas lights at Ice Blue Holiday Lights. Maybe if we turn the big light off here, you'll be able to see it. And you can tell what it looks like there. That's just sort of a little thing here in the den in the Sorgy Stories broadcast studios here in Philadelphia that we decided to put together since I work down here as well, to give some sort of spirit of the holidays, some sort of spirit of Christmas while I'm working, since I have to be downstairs while the rest of the family is going on. If you're watching a Pac-12 commercial right now, we have actually been, Little Bunny and I have been to, if I count correctly, both of us have been to a combination of 2 Pac-12 stadiums together. I've been to 4. How many college football stadiums have you been to in your life? I've been to 4. The first was in Colorado, the Colorado Buffaloes. Definitely, by the way, give some love to a great YouTube channel called Colorado Martini. Big Colorado Buffaloes fans. They also are a fantastic travel channel that talks about the American West, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, Wyoming, and some of the great Western legends of the United States. But they're big Colorado Buffaloes fans. I went there in 2005 at a wedding. In between the wedding mass and the reception, I had a chance to drive around Boulder, Colorado a bit. And I got to the campus, and I got to walk right to the entryway. Thank you, big time, little bud.
You're welcome.
A Folsom Field. See, it's about 50,000 people. It has an even better mountain view than at the Rose Bowl. But not the Rose Bowl, but Mile High Stadium in Denver. Then I went to the Rose Bowl Stadium itself, and it blew away every place I've ever been for a football game in terms of just pure natural beauty. There is nothing like a sunset during the fourth quarter of a Rose Bowl game. Absolutely nothing.
As we are about to go to the fourth quarter in about 4 minutes. Oh, the PA pass. And
a play action pass.
First down.
For those of you who do not know what a play action pass is, by the way, it may be the most effective play in offensive football because the team thinks you're going to run the ball. You fake like you're going to hand it off, and then you throw it to someone. For those of you who are not big football fans and don't know that, that is such an effective weapon, and Ohio State is using it really well as they have again marched into the Utah red zone for the third time in this third quarter.
Yeah. And to give you an example, he talked about a little bit what the PA pass is. So I'm the quarterback, right? He's the running back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the ball. He's going to come up. I'm going to go like that. Then I'm going to go.
While I'm blocking.
I'm going to throw it. Big game. Bang.
Because the defense gets sucked in by the run fake, and then a receiver gets wide open. And Ohio State has used that to now get within 14 yards of again making it a one-score game.
Another one.
And they used it again, but I think Utah was ready for it. And they were able to stop that pass completion from becoming a touchdown, but they still have 2 more chances as they are in the red zone of Utah. And this one Utah fan is like, how can you not intercept that?
If anyone is just coming in here, we are a father and son in Philadelphia, and we do sports, travel, food, all that stuff, content, and
thank you for the reset.
Yes, if you're just coming in searching up Rose Bowl Live, because we're actually towards the top of that list. I checked.
Nice.
Towards the top of the list. But so yeah, if we're coming in, or if you're coming in to our stream, I'm Anthony. He is Daddy. This is Sorgy Stories. We're just watching the game, talking about whatever you want to talk about. And yeah.
I think we're being a little bit more conversational than you might get with some streams that are just sitting there watching and they're looking at it and they're quiet. And then they see a big play. And they look at it and they go, get him! Get him! Crush him! Destroy him!
And almost a catch for the Buckeyes. One of their receivers dived.
4th and 10.
And they're going to force a field goal, which is going to make this a 38. Oh, and a man down for the Buckeyes.
Another Buckeyes player hurt. They've had a pretty bad third quarter when it comes to injuries. That's going to be
their tight end.
And I will always think about the late Don Meredith, the former quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Thank you for subscribing, Chicago Sports Network.
Hey,
thank you for joining us.
How you doing? I know that you're
We will have to check you out at some point after when this is done.
I've already checked him out. I've been on his stream.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I'll find you. We'll find you here on Sorgy Stories.
It's Lincoln from American Football Network. Him and Chicago Sports Network, good friends of mine.
Good people. American Football Network. Check them out. subscribe to them.
I was on their streams earlier today.
38-31, by the way, right?
They haven't kicked the field goal yet.
Okay. All right, because now you got to change the graphic back here.
Yeah. AFM, what do you think of this so far? What are you seeing out of this game? Do you think they have the potential to get up to 100 points?
I mean, because the Rose Bowl record is 102 total points scored in a game.
Yeah.
They came into halftime with 56. They have now added, if my math is correct, 21. Is that correct? No.
It's 38-28, which
that
would
would
get you
to 66. They've only added 10 points.
Okay. Dave and Kathy Hyde. Hi, everyone. Sorry we're late. Too much of a... We get you in Chicago Sports Network. Hey, how you doing? We're good. Lincoln, we'll have a stream. Yes, I heard about that.
When we're done tonight, slide over to American Football Network and join their stream as they discuss the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
Dave and Kathy, you have been watching football. What football have you been watching today? Did you watch, like this kid watched, Notre Dame blow it against Oklahoma State today?
Let's scratch Notre Dame. Jack Cohn and the refs. The refs. CSM is going to agree with me on that because Jack Cohn choked. The refs made some horrific calls that it was just like.
What do I say about when refs are to blame for a game? They're not to blame for a game, truly, because there are 140 plays typically that happen, or 150 if you include special teams plays, and 22 different players doing 22 different things on those plays. You've got 3,000 things that happen in a football game plus. One ref's call is not going to be the thing that determines the outcome, though it can play a part, certainly.
That's true, American Football Network. The refs don't blow 20 points.
Arkansas beating Penn State. Dave and Kathy Hyde, you had a chance to watch the Outback Bowl in Tampa, a game that when I was first covering the Wisconsin Badgers, they almost lived at. They every year would go to the Outback Bowl or the Citrus Bowl, which is what's that called now?
Hey, Harry.
In Orlando.
How you doing, Harrison Sawyer?
Harrison Sawyer joining us.
I know your Noles didn't make a bowl this year, but have you watched any of the bowls? And Dave and Kathy, we're in Baylor.
You're in Texas right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're playing tonight, Sugar Bowl. That's going to be a game. I think I put my money on Baylor, but in the bowl pick'em that for ESPN that I'm in, who do you have for the Ole Miss Baylor game?
Ooh.
I've got Baylor, but if you go either way.
I think I'm rooting for Ole Miss. I think I'm picking Baylor.
Yeah, Dave Aranda, the former Wisconsin assistant, really good coach.
What's that campus like, Dave and Kathy, since you had a chance to tour that campus yesterday before this big game? Was it all hyped up for the Sugar Bowl? Baylor's been to some big games recently, so I would imagine it still would be. Harrison mentioning doing some DoorDash, and when you do that, there's a bowl game at the time.
Yeah.
We have become DoorDash world.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
We have become DoorDash world. So, do I need to update the score here?
I think you might need to.
Yes, I will go update the score. We'll be right back.
It's 38-31, and Utah's driving.
And Dave and Kathy mentioning a beautiful campus and American Football Network, just like me, rooting for the Rebels, picking the Bears in that one.
Yeah, I'm not really rooting for either team.
Which, picking the Bears you don't do in the NFL.
Yes, as AFN knows. But if you're Chicago Sports Network, yeah, you're probably picking the Bears. Or at least cheering for the Bears. But
no offense.
Yeah, Lincoln and I were talking about that earlier. Aaron Rodgers is the mayor of Chicago. Oh, and a first down, Utah. They're driving to about the 50-yard line. This has been a great game so far. I watched the first half. It was entertaining. Now, I think the score should be updating here soon.
Yep. It's coming.
There's some old Southern money here. Yeah. They have 2 real bears on the campus. Wow. That's impressive.
That's fun.
That is impressive.
That's a fun stat.
And yes, AF and the Bears suck. I can't disagree. They're really bad. And the Bears have only won, I think, since 1994. Have only won, I think, 3 playoff games.
Yeah, I want to say 4 playoff games since '93.
Yeah, and since George Halas died, which I think that was before that '85 Super Bowl.
Right.
They've only won 1 Super Bowl, been to 2, but they haven't been as successful as they were, of course, with Halas. I was meaning the Chicago Bears, not the Bears on the Bengals. Yes.
Well,
yes.
of course.
Yes. And also the California Golden Bears, where there we go. There's the score now. Where Aaron Rodgers played. They are also cool. We've been to that stadium. It's awesome. Feels a lot like the Rose Bowl.
That it does. That it does. Cal Stadium. It has sort of that same bowl feature. It's got the trees that rise above the upper decks, so it definitely has that feel to it.
And it's on a big hill instead of a valley.
Yep. We've climbed that hill.
Oh, it's not fun. Not fun at all.
It makes the climb of the Rocky Steps seem like small.
Oh, yeah.
Small. It's great exercise if you ever want to take that walk and take that climb. But also, we've been outside, but never been inside, the both of us, at least for you to be able to see it, the LA Coliseum.
Yeah, we've both been on the outside, and he's been on the inside. I've technically been on the inside Anonymani's tummy. But Dave and Kathy, I got your meeting. American Football Network, we agree, we're cheeseheads. Yes. So we have American Football Network, Chicago Sports Network in South Carolina. We have Dave and Kathy Hyde Cheeseheads. We have Walking with Tamsin in Scotland. We've got a variety of people. I think we
Yeah, Tamsin, when is Heart's next game?
Yes.
Your favorite Scottish Premier League team. When's their next contest?
AFN, yeah, I've lived in South Carolina my entire life, but I'm a huge Packers fan and have been all that. That's we're here in PA, but we're Packers fans.
Absolutely. Now, American Football Network are going to be with us on Tuesday night. We are going live at 8:00. It's going to be our pre-recorded video, but we're going to showcase it. A 35-minute mini documentary. The editing of this thing has been the bane of my existence.
Yes.
But it's a mini documentary about the Packers-Ravens game that we attended. So definitely chime in then. Join us at 8:00 Tuesday night right here on this channel to check it out.
Yeah, no news. And sadly, Harrison Sawyer, I don't think they are going to be able to play in a bowl game because there are only 3 left. 2 left after this one, as American Football Network said.
Unless someone all of a sudden just creates a bowl game, which can happen.
Yeah.
You never know with the way that the NCAA operates with COVID. Walking with Tamsin, the Scottish Premier League has a break until the 17th, or at least Hearts does. The weather there, as he puts it, quote, kills the pitches this time of year. For those in our American audience, a pitch equals a field.
Yes.
If you do not know that. And absolutely, unless you have the type of technology that, say, the Green Bay Packers have at Lambeau Field, or a lot of NFL stadiums have, to be able to take care of a grass field during that level of cold. I mean, for example, tomorrow night when the Green Bay Packers host the Minnesota Vikings on Sunday Night Football, Wayside joining us. No problem.
Hey, Wayside.
No problem. Thanks for popping in. Another cheesehead who traveled down to Texas, by the way. Wayside, meet Dave and Kathy Hyde there in Texas right now, fellow cheeseheads as well. But when the field is as cold as it's going to be tomorrow night, 6 degrees expected to kick off, 6 degrees Fahrenheit, going down to 0 by the time the game is done
Man.
at about 10:30 p.m. Central Time.
Yes. And I see AFN there said, I'll be there. Let me see. He said, I'll be there to see. What are you referring to? Or am I missing something? And speaking of our premiere, well, AFN is going to be there helping us out. So thank you to him in advance for that. Yeah, LSU Kansas State are playing in the Texas Bowl Tuesday night. That's a late game. I'm not going to stay up to watch it. It's 9 o'clock, and I've got school the next day. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
I doubt I'll even be watching it, even though I might catch the tail end of it because I'll be done with my duties at KYW News Radio at 10 p.m. So that's possible.
AFN, we will see you. I totally get it. I've been eating. My dinner. I don't know if you. Have you eaten?
I haven't had mine yet.
Yeah.
So once we're done here, slide over and check American Football Network at 8:30.
Are you gonna be over with CSN, or are you guys doing separate streams? Yeah. So what do y'all want us to do? We can throw up a poll of who you're cheering for. Anything. Just tell us. As we're getting viewers here. 10 watching.
And we thank all of you for joining us. Thank you for joining us and staying with us.
So we're going to introduce ourselves again. I am Anthony, and he is Daddy. We're Sorgy Stories. He covered the Wisconsin Badgers, and has covered the Packers, Brewers, Bucks, Marquette.
Yep.
And
my 22 years at WTMJ Radio in Milwaukee before our family moved to Philadelphia for a fantastic job that I have at KYW News Radio.
Yes. And I'm just a sports fan, Wisconsin sports fan. If you know me from the college football community, as you can tell, Wisconsin right here, Marquette University, which is in Wisconsin. Fourth down, Utah
undefeated since 1960, by the way, Marquette football.
Here it goes.
And this is a very interesting decision. They're up 7 at the 30-something yard line, and they get shut down before reaching the first down marker. Ohio State has a chance to tie this Rose Bowl. If they punch the football in on this drive, it's going to be a 38-all game, theoretically. And to have the shot to tie this game, which has been an offensive showcase.
Chicago Sports Network, make that you join me and Lincoln. We'll be live on Chicago Sports Network, and we'll have guest talkers. We might hop on, maybe. I don't know for sure.
Who knows? Dave and Kathy are having a good discussion with Wayside Wade about Arizona travel. Have you ever been to Arizona? Tell us your favorite spot going to Arizona.
We love it, Arizona.
We were there for 2 Milwaukee Brewers games back in 2019 on our West Coast road trip. Check that series out. The best series we've had probably so far of anything we've done. 12 days of travel along the West Coast catching baseball and so much more fun.
So now as we get back to the game, Ohio State is starting their drive at their own 29-yard line, getting a gain of a couple to make it second and I think 7 or 6.
And by the way, any Arizona travelers, Dave and Kathy and Wayside Wade, we did the Apache Trail.
Drove it, but
we drove it, which I'm sure is the way that the two of you would be doing it.
Yeah. 6 likes so far and 12 on the check. Yes.
Yeah. Give us some likes on the video. Thank you, Wayside Wade.
You went to Arkansas for Christmas, Harrison. Okay, that is really cool.
That's awesome.
So random, but cool, because Arkansas, I feel like, is a very underrated state.
It's not well known.
Yeah. Arkansas, or as some people might say, Arkansas.
The people in Kansas call it Arkansas. Absolutely. And its natural beauty is outstanding. It's got some small mountains, sort of like West Virginia, which we've obviously had a chance to go to.
Okay, everyone, I've got a question for everyone here. This might be a debate, especially for Chicago Sports Network. Born in the Midwest, lives in the South. Is it a grocery cart or a buggy?
Buggy?
Yeah, that's what they call it down south.
Your mom is a Southerner.
Yeah,
my mom is a Southerner. Yeah, I've been married to her and for 14 years. I've known her for 17 years. I have never heard the phrase buggy.
I've heard her call it a buggy.
What?
Yeah, she's calling it a buggy.
Hey, not a mommy. Is it a grocery cart or a buggy?
She's
laughing.
It's both.
It's both is
Yes.
her answer.
Yes, grocery cart. Okay, yeah, I thought that was yeah, because I don't call it. See, when I go to West Virginia, I do have a little bit. I talk a little more like I'm from the South. I'll talk like this.
He does get a bit of an accent.
Yeah, when I go down there, I talk like this. And I say like instead of like this video. Like
Harrison,
this video.
they call it a buggy in Minnesota?
Well, they also
What?
in some places in Minnesota they also call it pop and not soda. So
Yeah, it's soda. It's soda.
the Amish pull buggies.
Soda or pop? What do you call it?
Yes, the Amish do pull buggies. That's a different kind of buggy.
Right, that's a bit different.
Yeah, in my class there's a obsession for the Amish in Lancaster County.
It's very close to us.
Yeah, it's not far.
Someday we may need to take a journey there. Chris learning calling it a cart born in Louisiana, or as they say, some people call it Louisiana, raised in Ohio.
Has anyone seen the Amish? I've never seen that.
I am not so sure about that. Oh, wow, you have Wayside. That is cray-cray. That's crazy, as the kid calls it.
Also,
he calls soda pop. Never heard a grocery cart called a buggy before.
Yep, it's a thing in the South. Yeah, that's one of my favorite channels. It's a kind of dual thing. It's a Southern thing, and SEC shorts. Even if you don't like the SEC, they make some really funny stuff.
Another funny channel out there called True Southern Accent. She is from Alabama and goes around to different parts of the country and examines the differences in Southern accents.
Interesting.
You have the Texas accent where they give it the real deep Texas sound. And then some would say that if you go into regions of Kentucky and Tennessee, you get the real Gomer Pyle accent.
Yeah. And I was actually, CSN, if you're still here, I was having the debate with, I think it was your dad or your uncle, one of the two, about if West Virginia is part of the South. It is a very southern place, as you said.
However, it was born to be a Union state during the war.
That's what I think it was your dad or uncle. I can't remember which. Yeah, so the northern part, Wheeling, is considered part of the Rust Belt.
Right.
But Charleston and the southern part, Charleston, Huntington, Beckley, even though it's in northern West Virginia, Morgantown, there's this southern.
It's culturally southern, but historically northern.
That's how I put it.
Which is a very interesting way of putting it. And very interesting way of existing.
Talking about college football, yesterday, it's crazy. 204 yards rushing for Alabama's running back Brian Robinson Jr., the third most in college football playoff history.
The championship game every other year is the SEC invitation.
I know. It
just is.
Like, I wish Clemson would have made it, or I wish,
especially Michigan would have made it.
If Michigan, I think actually would have
Michigan might be able to beat Alabama. Maybe.
Here's what I would want to do. Put Alabama up against the best players in college football that are not Alabama. That's the only team that I think would be able to actually
theoretically
beat them.
Again, play action passing.
And Ohio State's running.
By Ohio State to get the football to the 10-yard line, 10 yards away from tying this game as we're in the early stages of the fourth quarter. And then I got to go back and change this graphic again.
Yeah.
Which is all fun and dandy and a blast, etc., etc.
I think it's for you it would be this way. Stroud looks and he's gonna go out.
Yeah. Again, we can't really give the play-by-play, but we can give our reactions to what we are seeing.
Sadly, sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't, so we're not going to risk it.
Ohio State, by the way, for those of you who are from Ohio, and Chris, you might be able to give the example of it. Ohio's a football state. It loves its high school football like crazy. It loves the NFL like crazy. Browns fans and Bengals fans, it's war.
Yeah.
It's war. 12 times a year plus bowl games and any postseason, the state is united. And it's united by these Buckeyes.
Unless you're an Ohio, or unless you're a Cincinnati fan, or Ohio, or Toledo, or Akron, or Bowling Green, or
even most of them like Ohio State.
Yeah.
It's like it becomes their number 2 team.
Oh,
It becomes their number 2 team.
Kind of weird. Something coming up. This makes absolutely no sense. But West Virginia scheduled a home and home with Ohio.
The University of Ohio, not Ohio State.
Yeah.
The University of Ohio, which is like maybe 15 minutes from the West Virginia border.
But it's so weird as the Utah fans are going crazy in the Rose Bowl. It's a 3rd and 3. They want to hold Ohio State to a field goal here.
I'm betting, by the way, when it comes to that West Virginia-Ohio series, West Virginia's making a pretty penny when it comes to the Ohio game. And we're about to have a tie game in this Rose Bowl with 10-12 left on a touchdown pass for the Buckeyes.
Marvin Harrison Jr.,
the son of the great Indianapolis Colt Marvin Harrison, Hall of Famer.
Isn't he going into the Hall?
I believe he's going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, or he's at least a finalist. Did he already? I think 30. He already made it.
Let me check.
Here, I'll race you as we get to that extra point. Why don't you watch that while I check it?
Okay.
So.
Yeah, we're watching this on the. Oh yeah.
He made the Hall of Fame in 2016. So he is the son of a Pro Football Hall of Famer. It's tied at 38. I'm going to change your update here.
Yes. Again, for any of you that are just coming in, I'm Anthony. The guy off the screen is Daddy.
Hi!
And he covered the Wisconsin Badgers in the Rose Bowl, as well as covered all the Wisconsin sports teams other than that. And we are giving a live reaction to Ohio State and Utah here. We are father and son that cover sports, food, and travel. We have a big premiere coming out, a long premiere coming out Tuesday night. Come for the premiere. Watch that. We're going to have me, American Football Network, and maybe others in the chat. We're going to be probably talking football, NFL, college. So let us know where you're from and who you are a fan of, who you're cheering for in this game. We are on the side of Utah, not because we like Utah.
We don't like Ohio State.
Yeah, we don't like Ohio State. That's the main reason. We don't really mind the Big Ten teams other than Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan State, Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
As we are getting the graphic updated here.
Go watch some mountains or some beautiful architecture for a second.
Yeah. Chris learning at high school football in Cincinnati is big. Ohio, the Pro Football Hall of Fame, true. Ohio State fans everywhere in the state. I grew up on the Ohio-West Virginia border. Yeah, there is this. When we always travel to Charleston, where we have family, and we always stay at my grandma's house outside of Charleston. And we're driving down the road, the main road, to get to the interstate. And there's always this one house, and I call it the Ohio State house, because one year they had a huge 30-foot Brutus.
30-foot Brutus.
Yeah.
It's like taller than it's like about the height of
the house itself.
Our house.
It was the height of their house, a
yep.
2-story house on a hill. And it was before, it was at the year that Ohio State lost to Clemson. I yelled before that, the day of that game, before the game, I would, go Tigers! Tigers won, they took it down today.
I do not advocate what I'm about to suggest here. Don't do this. But I'm pretty sure you wanted to shoot a BB gun through that thing.
Yeah, I said,
I don't advocate.
I was tempted. Is Packers defense going to come around?
Question from Dave Kathy Hyde. They're not going to need too much of it in comparison to if they would have had Kirk Cousins in the lineup for the Minnesota Vikings, the quarterback. And Adam Thielen, a great receiver for the Vikings.
I'm trying to get Dalvin Cook in the fantasy. I'm actually in at least, I think I'm in 4 fantasy championships, all 4 of my leagues. 2 of them because no one else played. And I've just been the only one actually doing anything with the lineups. And in the other 2...
And I don't play fantasy football.
Yeah, he doesn't.
And I've covered the NFL for 22 years.
But I'm trying to trade for Dalvin Cook because I think, with the running backs I have, I don't feel safe with Aaron Jones. He hasn't been productive. But I'm very, very tempted to start Dalvin Cook and play him because I think he's going to have a decently big game. But give me the Packers.
The Packers have no business losing that game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
No business. This is theirs for the taking.
Jair.
Dave and Kathy mentioning high school football being big in both Ohio and in Texas.
As well as here in Pennsylvania. Chris learning, wow, 30-foot Brutus does not surprise me from an Ohio State. Yeah.
To tell you how big it is in Texas, I'm sure many of you have heard of the why is the name escaping? Friday Night Lights about Odessa Permian High School in Odessa, Texas. They build 25,000 seat, $160 million stadiums in Texas for high school football. It's ridiculous. It is so above what the right perspective should be about high school football. It shouldn't be bigger than the education, but, well, look what's happened with college football. The fact that you're watching this game is proof of it.
Yeah, and we're gaining viewers. I love watching. Please.
Thank you.
Please subscribe and like or dislike. It helps the YouTube algorithm either way. We're a father and son doing sports, travel, food, all that fun stuff. We're watching the game. We're more than anything talking, but we'll start to give our reactions to the game. We can't do play-by-play, but
yep.
Yeah.
And Dave and Kathy mentioning high school football in Texas, filling up stadiums every week. And to tell you how big high school football is in Texas, I haven't seen the full rosters for both Ohio State or Utah, but I would take a guess that a handful or close to a handful of players on both those rosters and on most Division I rosters of the major programs have close to a handful of players from Texas every year.
Let's say this. There are a lot of guys from Texas, including, as we were talking about, Utah. I can't remember these guys' names, but they lost two players tragically. One of them was shot. The other one was killed somehow. Both in a year, and they were best friends.
We have a major injury happening right now in the Utah game.
Yeah, it's Utah.
I believe it's Utah's quarterback, but I'd have to double check that. And it's major enough to have players on their knees on the sidelines and have fans going while they're watching.
We don't know who it is for sure, but they're on commercial break. We will.
And we're doing that, by the way, we're keeping the sound down. That way we are okay when it comes to copyright as we give our reactions to what's going on. And for those of you, the 14 of you who are watching this, we thank all of you so much. 38-38 tie game, and we're early in the fourth quarter of the Rose Bowl between Ohio State and Utah. In a setting, by the way, for those of you, we talked about this a little earlier, for those of you who joined us late, I had a chance to cover the 2011 Rose Bowl in Pasadena when Wisconsin played TCU. There is no better setting for a college football game than that. A game at sunset in the Rose Bowl. That's why they always purposely schedule it for mid-afternoon in Pasadena every year, no matter what. Without fail, they will play that game then. It is so picturesque of a setting with that stadium, with that game. I defy anyone to come up with a better setting, more beautiful natural setting for a college football game. While we're sitting here.
Okay, I was trying to find if there was any update on who that was injured. Nothing I can find, so we're going to have to wait and figure out who that was. But we have Silver Mountain coming in.
Same in Oklahoma, talking about high school football, working in Oklahoma City for a few months. Friday nights were wild. Absolutely. Yeah. Especially when you have college football with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State in that place. Football is mad crazy in that state. While we're sitting here, and this will probably be our last discussion during the college football season.
Yeah,
because we're going to be pretty busy next weekend. You'll find out what our journeys are going to be, but we're going to be pretty busy next weekend.
Oh yeah, I just remember.
Hopeful COVID allows us to do it.
Yeah, we've got some
plans.
Yeah,
we got some plans coming. So I would not expect us to do a live next weekend.
Yeah.
Maybe Sunday we might pull one off.
Yeah, we might.
If we have time, but I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah, depending on the NFL schedule and if we can watch the Packers game, that's what it'll probably depend on.
Yeah, I would even expect that, by the way.
That was.
Oh, you've got yourself a leg injury, it looks like.
Oh, and a head, maybe.
Yeah, he bounced his head a little bit. Let's see. He's walking on his own power. He's going into the Utah football sideline tent, but that's so good to see him.
He's limping a little bit, it seems like. As Bryson Barnes.
A freshman.
From Milford, Utah.
Imagine yourself within a 4-month period, like maybe a 7-month period of your life, going from graduating from high school to in a small town in Utah, and all of a sudden finding yourself 7 months later in the fourth quarter of a tied Rose Bowl against Ohio State. Imagine what that's like in such a tight game as Walking with Tamsin mentions to us. By the way, Walking with Tamsin, fantastic channel. They do some really unique stuff, especially with nature. Nature, a family channel, discovering nature. Really cool, fun stuff if you like that type of thing. Check them out and subscribe to them. Everyone subscribe to each other as you're watching this. Absolutely. But place yourself in that young quarterback spot. What would you be like? Feel free to comment about this. What would you be like if you suddenly found yourself in that pressure cooker of a situation? What would be some of the first words out of your mouth or reactions? Keep it G-rated, people.
Yes.
But what would your reactions be?
Again, trying to figure out what's happening here. I saw ESPN did put something out, so I'm trying to find what's going on.
As we're in a 38 channel. Yes, Wayside Wade, Nature, Family, and History, Tamsin. Absolutely. So I'll try and race you here.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out what happened.
Race to get this information. Let's see. A lot of commentary about a head slamming hard on the turf and it appearing to be a quarterback, like a right arm going limp. So it appears to be that type of an injury.
I see. Yeah, it could be he did hit his did hit his head pretty hard.
That looks like it's possibly a concussion situation, especially when you get your helmet taken away from you. That means you can't go back in the game, and usually they're protecting that type of situation. Walking with Tamsin, that young lad will be very nervous, I expect. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
When you are in prime position. And
there's a turnover.
Ohio State's got the football now.
I don't know what happened.
While we were searching around,
the
football went into Ohio State's hands. My guess was a punt. And you maybe watch this, you can tell us what we missed as we were trying to figure out the medical condition of the starting quarterback for Utah.
Yeah, watch number 0, middle linebacker. I talked about him before. Devin Lloyd. He's going to be going into the draft. This is his final game. He's a really good player.
38-38. Ohio State and Utah tied in the Rose Bowl. Ohio State has a couple of consecutive first downs as they start marching up the field. This entire second half has been like the slow momentum rise for the Buckeyes as they have now overcome a 2-touchdown advantage from Utah. And they're starting to exact their will.
Yeah, 7:30 and counting down left in the fourth quarter. It's going to be 1st and 10 and about midfield. To
sort of reset the situation as well with this game, Utah, this is their first Rose Bowl ever. 60,000 fans have made the trip from Utah for this game. And I can tell you what it's like when a stadium is majority one team over the other. The first time the Wisconsin Badgers made the Rose Bowl in the 1990s after a 31-year wait, the game was against UCLA. UCLA won the Pac-10, as they called it back then. Wisconsin won the Big Ten. UCLA's home stadium is the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
And Badgers fans outnumbered UCLA fans. Back then, it sat 100,000 seats. 70,000 to 30,000. 70,000 clad in red. They called it Camp Randall West.
And here it is. This is the son of the Hall of Famer Marvin Harrison Jr. He caught a touchdown earlier. He gets the first down, putting Ohio State.
Second touchdown reception earlier in this game.
Yeah, he's had 2.
He's had three today.
And the big thing, though, he just put him inside the 50 as Stroud has to throw it away.
Some good pass rush from Utah in that situation as well. With their secondary doing a great job locking down Ohio State's receivers. And another hurt quarterback that it looks like he's going to stick in this contest. Chris mentioned you went to college in Utah, some really small towns in Utah, and you grew up in a small town in Ohio. We have driven past those small towns in Ohio a bunch.
A lot. Yeah, we've driven from Dayton on what would that be?
US 35.
US 35 into through Ohio into West Virginia as Ohio State's running it.
And by the way, Dave and Kathy Hyde right now, some of their videos that they've been posting are in some of the small towns of Ohio. They just posted one within the last couple of days. Go check that out as an example and subscribe to them. Yes. When you talk live for 2 hours on a YouTube or doing anything else, you need water. Let me just down this one real quick and I'll hand it off to you.
As I'm off the screen.
Thank you for being patient as I down some water.
I'll let Daddy take care of the commentary here.
5:40 left in this fourth quarter with a 38-ball game between Ohio State and Utah. Ohio State now has the ball in Utah territory. A 3rd and 8, and Utah stops them at the 38-yard line. Very interesting decision coming. We'll catch up on some comments here. Walking with Tampson, Chris Learning. Walking with Tampson, the sight, quite a sight, a sea of red. That's what it is today with these two teams that are clad in red. Walking with Tampson mentioning that he loves to watch Dave and Kathy's travels. Absolutely. It is 4th and 4.
Here you are.
Molto grazie.
I need to see this 4th and
4. 4th and 4 inside the 39-yard line of Utah for Ohio State. This is a game swinger.
It's going to be a first.
And that's a first down for Ohio State as they continue to move the chains with their top level receivers. Ohio State, in some ways, is close to Alabama. Not necessarily super close in terms of blue chip 4-star, 5-star players. But Ohio State has a lot more than Utah. If it gives you an idea about how big Alabama is, they have 74 current blue chip players on their roster.
Oh!
And is that a touchdown we see? Is that a touchdown?
Touchdown.
Ohio State just took the lead, 44-38. Jackson Smith and the Jigba, I apologize if I mispronounced the name, but with 4:22 left, Ohio State has its first lead, at least in the second half. Have they had a lead at all this game?
I don't think so. As IS says, Jesus Christ sake. True.
So, yes. But that's not something we necessarily discuss here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, absolutely. But, yes.
Yeah, this is sports.
We are sticking to sports on it. I'm not saying that that's not important to discuss. We even have some content when it comes to that. This is not that.
Yeah, so, do you know? I asked Sorgy. No, we do not.
Not at all. Not at all. So, again, we do not denounce religion.
Yeah.
We are believers. This is not the place to discuss that.
Yeah, we've done it a little bit, but yeah, this is sports, travel, food, and we have 16 watching. Anyone new here?
I got a score to change.
Yeah, we are a father and son from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We moved to Philadelphia this summer. Again, we do food, we do travel, we do sports. This is getting it to be a close game. We have 14 watching now. This is a channel we would love for you to subscribe to. We put a lot of work into this. All of the money from, if we monetize off of this channel, get to 1,000 subs and get the watch hours, is going to go to my college. So, yeah, Ohio State is now winning by 7 with the extra point that they made. It's 45-38, 4:22 left. as we have 17 now. Anyone coming into the chat? 18. Welcome. This is Sorgy Stories again. As Utah is running back the return, and they are going to have it at the 44-yard line of themselves, almost at half field. Who's the quarterback going to be for the Utes? Is it going to be Rising? It is not going to be. We don't know details of the injury. I'm going to check on that right now. We have it on mute.
Yeah, by the way, you like that background that you see there?
Yeah, how do you? Yeah, that's a cool background. As we're trying to get the score set back up. Second half, total yards. Ohio State 301, Utah 101.
Let's see here. All right, we should have this coming up very quickly here.
I'm checking. This is.
There we go. The graphic is back. Yeah, like those beautiful floaties in the background. Yeah, 45-38 right now. The final 4 minutes and change of one of the most exciting Rose Bowls in recent memory. And they've had some good ones. That Georgia-Oklahoma one from a few years ago, 54-48, was one of the greatest college football games, at least of this millennium.
Okay, so I can't find anything so far, but Utah's driving down. It's going to be third down, though. Big third down. I think about 3rd and 5 for the Utes.
And Chris, and mentioning the idea of reviving your channel. I love the content you put up there, so I would encourage it. But when you're in a situation in life when you shouldn't necessarily have a channel, that's completely understandable, and that's okay.
Ohio State injury.
45-38. Ohio State with the lead with 3:28 left. Utah with the football at this point.
Number 7 for Ohio State is injured. I don't know who that is. Haven't watched much Ohio State football or Utah football, frankly, this year. But
we'd be able to tell you more if we have the sound up, but we need to make sure we're on the up and up when it comes to YouTube.
So now it's going to be 3rd and 6. This is a crucial play. Utah's offense has slowed down since their starting quarterback came out of the game. It could have been a head, it could have been a shoulder, could have been a leg. We really don't know. They're making some Ohio State bench trying to make the noise.
Be in that stadium at this moment and feel what they're feeling at this moment is just absolutely crazy.
Oh,
and Ohio State. Oh, we got a flag in the play.
A flag. That's going to be
we
PI.
have a flag. Pass interference flag is going to be coming 2 times out of 3, or if not more, when they call that, it's defensive. And in this case, it is again.
We are here cheering for Utah. We have the 18 people here watching. Go Utes here.
All of you, give this video a like if you're watching and you haven't given it a video as
yeah.
Give it a like as well.
I'm gonna like for ourselves.
We don't.
No, I'm kidding. We don't need to like
that.
Oh.
That's because you shouldn't like your own videos. At least me. Feel free to tell me if I'm way off base when it comes to that.
20 watching now. Welcome. This is Sorgy Stories.
This is a blast.
We are a father and son living in Philadelphia. We do sports, travel, food. We are reacting to the Rose Bowl as it's 3 minutes left. Ohio State 45-38. 2nd and 9. Utah has their starting quarterback out of the game with an injury.
Backup from a small town in Utah.
Freshman, as Ohio State is dealing with injuries as well. Ohio State had a player come out of the game with targeting earlier here.
What a fantastic Hollywood-style story in Hollywood.
Yeah.
The team's down 7. You are the backup quarterback who grew up in Utah. 7 months ago, you just graduated high school. Now you have to come into the 4th quarter of the Rose Bowl,
almost a first,
down 7 in the final minutes, and drive your team down the field.
It's going to be 3rd and short.
To try and put your team back into the lead or tie the game and send it to overtime.
Utah.
Let's ask this real quick, by the way. Let's get your thoughts. If you are Utah in this spot, do you go for the tie and kick the extra point if they score the touchdown? Or do you go for the win as they advance to get another first down?
Do
you go for the tie and get the 2-point conversion and get the win automatically here? Or do you take the single point, extra point, and go to overtime?
I easily take just the tie.
9 times out of 10, yeah.
Oh, he's taking a shot.
Oh, my gosh.
PI.
We got another pass interference penalty.
PI.
And another, is he injured? The tight end,
No,
he looks like he's getting up.
Yeah, he looks like.
But he looks like he's a bit hurt.
He's a little bit shaken up. Pass interference.
Oh my gosh!
Is that
what? This is drama.
Hold on.
This is fantastic drama.
But is it a 15-yard penalty or is
it's
it
15 yards in college football?
Okay.
In the National Football League, pass interference on the defense
is
a spot foul, which is the way I think it should be.
15 yards is huge.
15 yards is still a pretty big penalty in that type of circumstance.
So 2 minutes. We're at the 2-minute warning.
This is just bonkers. Thank all of you for being our second screen.
Yes.
To be your second screen. They're going to the end zone again?
Touchdown!
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he got the foot in bounds. Oh, my God.
Utah, inside the 2-minute warning.
45 to 44. Here is why, in this situation, I might consider going for 2.
Backup quarterback.
Because you know Ohio State can move the football. You know Ohio State can move the football. If you only have a tie game here,
great catch.
I don't know how well I trust that defense in an overtime situation.
That's true.
Knowing that they're gonna tie the game.
Yeah, there's no.
They're gonna go for the tie, which I understand.
Conservative move,
but I get it. 45 all.
Meaning that we are up to 90 points in this game. Wow. And
if it stays 45 all, each team is going to get the football in overtime.
Mm-hmm.
If each of them scores a touchdown, the highest scoring game in the history of the Rose Bowl.
Yes, and here we go. Utah 10-3, Pac-12 champs. Ohio State 10-2, second place in the Big Ten East. Here it all comes down to this.
To Ohio State, this game it's what you do. You go to the Rose Bowl if you don't win the Big Ten and go to the playoff.
Yeah.
You go to the Rose Bowl. It's old hat. If you're Utah, this is the biggest game in school history.
Oh, yeah. This is crazy. If they win this, they pull off the upset. And I think America really, no one likes Ohio State but Ohio State fans.
Chris mentioning, exciting game. This is fun. My husband doesn't really watch sports with me, and Junior is at Grandma's house for several days. Love this. Small stuff, big family. Thank you for joining us from Missouri. Even though you are currently watching the Winter Classic, instead, go St. Louis Blues.
Marty Smith, I think that's Marty Smith.
Funny commercial.
Yeah,
funny All-State commercial.
All-State commercial. That's Marty Smith, great reporter.
Small stuff, big family. I suggest you go and follow a channel that we love, Baseball Road Tripper. This guy is a baseball fanatic and does what we do, going around to various stadiums watching baseball games. He's from Minnesota. I believe he is at this game. I don't want to tell tales, so I'm just going to speculate. The odds are pretty good he's going to have a video about this game, a vlog about this Winter Classic going on right now in Minnesota.
Where's the game being played?
In Minnesota against the Blues.
It's Blues Wild?
Blues Wild.
At Target Field or?
I believe it's at Target Field.
Wow.
And it's insanely cold. 5 below 0 Fahrenheit. Tamsin, if you're still with us, let me do the quick Celsius to Fahrenheit conversion.
Again, for any of you joining us, we are Sorgy Stories, a father and son living in Philadelphia from Wisconsin originally. We do sports, we do travel, we do food, and we are reacting to this tight game. 45-45. We'll have to update
You have to update the score. By the way, real quick, Tamsin, if you're watching, that hockey game that's going on is in what would be in Celsius 21 degrees minus Celsius.
Yes. But this is a tight game. If this goes to overtime and both teams score a touchdown, it will be the highest scoring Rose Bowl in the 100-year history of the game. This is the 100th game. After this, we have the Sugar Bowl about to kick off. Go check out American Football Network and Chicago Sports Network. Good friends of mine who are going to be doing that one on their channels, as I am getting rid of ESPN. Okay, there we go. They were giving me some notifications about the game. The Goodyear Blimp is there. Great views. It is night in California as it is across America and in Scotland. We're walking with Tamsin is
2:45 in the morning.
yes. Thank you for joining us as Utah will kick this off. Let's see what happens.
Man, this is bonkers. This is
And
just so bonkers.
Ohio State. They're going. Ohio State.
Is Ohio State like returning the kickoff deep?
Oh, yeah, all the way up to the 45.
Oh, wow.
That was a great return. If he wouldn't have got tripped up, he might have gone all the way, which actually might have been the better thing for Utah. They would have time to drive down the field. As we are about to update the score here, it's 45-45, 147 left in the game. And
this is crazy.
1st and 10, Ohio State. They only need to drop 55 yards to the end zone. A little more than that.
We do not have the most high-tech scoreboard, by the way, for our score updates as we are live coming to the game.
Ohio State's driving.
Murilo Augusto. Greetings from
Brazil. Hello.
We have people watching us in 3 continents. Hopefully, you're watching the game and have us as have us as your second screen.
Yes, I hope.
In all these continents.
45-45. 120 left in the game as Ohio State gets a first down, and they are in Utah territory.
Oh my gosh! 1:19 left. This is what you're scared of if you're Utah's defense, because you know Ohio State can move it at any moment at this level.
Yeah, we have people. We have Walking with Tamsin, Scotland. We have Mario Augusto in Brazil, and we have everyone else here in America. 3 continents. Pretty cool.
By the way, if you're Ohio State, if you're watching this, my guess is they're not going to take a shot at the end zone here. What they want to do is slowly move the football, not super slow.
Well, hold on.
But they want to move the football and just get into field goal range, run the clock down, and not let Utah have any chance at the ball back.
So, 2nd and 1, we have 20 people watching. And here, let me give you an update here. 45-45. Minute left. Ohio State is in field goal range.
Yeah, and you're noticing again, they're trying to stay in bounds, keep the clock running down. They want to
1st and 10.
Make sure there's no time at all for Utah to respond. I don't think Utah is going to get this ball back. And they're putting themselves in perfect field goal range to win this game 48-45. Do not do what Tamsin did and go and get themselves a drink out of the refrigerator.
We don't blame you, Tamsin. You can get thirsty. We're pretty thirsty here. CJ Stroud. It looks like he's looking for
We got our water. Oh my God. Yep, there we go. Another first down there. And now, I mean, it's a near chip shot field goal.
Yeah, or are they looking to go to the end zone, give Utah 10 seconds?
I mean, there's an old saying that 1 in hand is worth 2 in the bush, which means get the points and guarantee yourself. I could see it, but do you risk an interception?
Yeah.
I don't risk that interception. Hold the ball, run it.
28 watching now. You probably are just joining us. You might 30 watching now. You might not.
Thank you, all of you. Subscribe to us, subscribe to each other.
Yeah, you probably.
And Ohio State, they just ran it down to the 2-yard line.
So, yeah, we have 25. We are Sorzy Stories, a father and son. Sports, food, travel. 2nd and 1. 20 seconds, clock running down.
And they're probably going to run the clock down until they get to the point where they can kick a 20-yard field goal.
Where's the timeout?
And clinch. And maybe they just call timeout here.
Yeah.
With 12 seconds left.
Ohio State calls the timeout.
The strategy behind that, for those of you who don't know, the strategy with calling a timeout that early is because if for some reason it's 2nd and 1, so you have 3 downs left to play with here.
Yeah.
If it's 2nd and 1, if for some reason it's a bad snap, the holder or the kicker or whoever on the offensive side can run back, fall on the football. Yeah, it's going to be maybe about a 15-yard loss, but you're still in field goal range. You have enough time to attempt a field goal again.
Yes, and here, so 2nd and 1, 12 seconds. For all of you joining again, we are Sorzy Stories. And he worked for the Badgers Radio Network.
You're resetting things a lot. People, feel free to subscribe to us.
Yes.
Like crazy. I've covered the Rose Bowl before, so I understand what this game means. But this is was one of the best endings I can remember to a Rose Bowl.
Yeah, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. Yeah, this is just gonna be. This is absurd.
This is bonkers.
I hope you all are enjoying this, and they're gonna take the field goal with 12 seconds
Noah
left.
Ruggles. He's a senior. This may be his last football game of his career.
Probably
This is,
19 yards.
If he is cool hand Luke and has ice in his veins, Ohio State's going to win this thing.
And it's up, and it is good.
And that's just about what's going to happen.
9. Ohio State celebrating. But
Ohio State has won about 3,728 Rose Bowls in their existence. This is going to be about 3,729.
Man, this is
after a ridiculous level of a football game. I credit the Utah Utes for playing a fantastic game as I go change the score.
If Utah's quarterback doesn't get injured, they probably win this game. They probably drive down the field. And it's sad to see maybe an injury change the entire pace of the game as he's updating the score to make it Ohio State 48, Utah 45. This is crazy. We have 33 watching. Again, we're Sorgy Stories. Go down and hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. We're talking about this Ohio State game. When we are done, go check out my good friends, American Football Network, Chicago Sports Network. They're going to be doing a live Sugar Bowl stream. As Utah is going to receive this kick. It's a 3-point game. I hope that you all have enjoyed this game, have had a great New Year. I'm Anthony. He's Daddy.
Hi!
And we're father and son who do sports, travel, and food. Here we go. 9 seconds. Ohio
We
State.
can't give the play-by-play again.
Yeah. But just setting the scene here.
Well, let me flip that. Boo-boo.
Yeah, Utah.
Daddy boo-boo. Daddy boo-boo.
I'm just going to cover that up there.
Okay. Hang on. You
And
take
here,
it down.
Utah.
I'll take that down. Daddy boo-boo. Ah!
Utah's trying to get down. Utah has 2 seconds. 1.
Is that it? Is that the game? Oh, it's still alive? Oh, I think
Nope,
they
it's
blew a
dead.
whistle.
I don't know.
That's it. Ohio State has won one of the great Rose Bowl games that I can remember.
Is it over?
It's over.
It seemed like he was down. I think he was down.
It's over.
Seemed like he was down with 2 seconds.
48, 45, unless replay shows something different, and then they have to clear the field like crazy, which I don't think is going to happen. We have to wait for a replay to see if we caught that. Yes, absolutely, Tampson. That was incredibly exciting and unlucky for Utah. We have some pushing and shoving going on here with the players that have a little bit of
last play.
animosity.
That last play, there's some pushing and shoving as well. And yeah, so
Small Stuff Big Family, thank you for joining us. Thank you, all of you, for joining us. We're going to stay here for a little bit and just try and see if we can figure out what happened on this last play.
Secret Squirrel, great coverage.
Thank you so much, Secret Squirrel.
Keep it up. Thank you.
I don't think they're going to be able to bring this thing back. If they're interviewing players right now, they are not going to go back and check the replay. They pretty much said this game's over.
Yeah, that was.
Wow, what a Rose Bowl! What a Rose Bowl!
I was hoping so hard Utah would win. I'm a little sad that it didn't go the way we wanted it to, but it's okay. An FBS bowl record 347 receiving yards. Wow.
Dave, Kathy, hi. Thank you for staying with us this whole time as well. Next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, we are going to have not just a new vlog video coming out. We always do video releases on Tuesdays, but we are going to have a mini documentary about our experience going to the Green Bay Packers Baltimore Ravens game in Baltimore a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, that's going to be fun. And yeah, so again, final Utah.
So, but join us 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 Central, especially for you Packers fans in the Central Time Zone.
Like it.
This is going to be a very, very special job. It has taken me all week to edit this thing. It has made me burn everything at both ends of the candle.
Yeah,
I can't do it, but it's been awesome.
Again, final score: Ohio State 48, Utah 45.
Join us Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. Go check out American Football Network.
Chicago Sports Network, they're streaming.
We have channels to check out.
Yes.
All these great people have joined us.
Subscribe
Subscribe to them. Everyone, subscribe to everybody.
Yes. So, unless there's anything else you got, I think this is it.
I have dinner to enjoy.
Yeah.
I haven't eaten dinner. I think you had some before.
I had a little bit of Chick-fil-A, but that's
So.
it. So,
everyone, thank you so much.
Yes.
For little buddy, I'm Daddy. The rest of the world calls me Jay, but I'm Daddy.
So long from Sorgy Story Studios in Philadelphia. Final score: Ohio State 48, Utah 45 in the Rose Bowl from Pasadena, California.
Silver Mountain, your brother's a Michigan grad. Your brother-in-law is throwing bricks at the television. We empathize as you see my big oversized head ending this video on your screen.
See ya. Okay.